Welcome back.
Welcome to the TAE Time podcast. Yeah, don't mind my voice. I was sick last week, and now and it's actually funny because I had like a sniffles, whatever kind of cold thing. I didn't really have much of a cough or anything with the throat, and Nicoletta had like stuff with her throat. But then when I started getting better, I was much better, and then straight away, bada bing, bada boom, as I was recovering, my throat started hurting me. So I sound like this now.
Like an old grandpa.
Yeah, like an old grandpa. But,
yeah, my throat isn't 100% either. So if I go like croaky or whatever, sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't mean to. It's not on purpose. But anyways, on to today's topic, which hopefully will be an interesting one for you. I think it's touching close to a lot of people, especially, dating, relationships, partners, whatever. Today, what are we talking about?
We're talking about finances and relationships. Scary.
I know, it's a touchy subject, for a lot of people. I think finance in general, people find hard to talk about even with their friends and family. So like, let alone when you're just entering a relationship and you're like trying to navigate it,
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy, not gonna lie. Like, it's a situation right now, especially like Nicola. The reason actually we want to talk about this is because there's been so much things recently as well on like TikTok, Reddit, and all that stuff about finances and relationships, like people having problems with it. And it's like such a, like this, like I always say, there is no point in ever going full in with someone, like whether it's marriage, whatever, if you haven't or like partnership, domestic partnership, if you haven't talked about finances, like, and if the other person is scared or doesn't even want to talk about finances with you, run away. Like, because it's such a big thing. It's such a massive part of relationship that you guys have to deal with, like on a literal day-to-day basis. So I don't understand why you wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of issues do tend to stem from it as well. A lot of the reasons that people break up, or people are like, oh, my wife doesn't want to pay her share of expenses, or things like that. And it's interesting, but I think that's why it makes it even more important for people to live together before they become official, because that's when you have no choice but kind of a little bit have to talk about finances.
Yeah, you're a little bit more forced
into it, whether you like it or not.
Exactly. Like you're in a situation where it's like, oh, you have to buy groceries, you have to do this, you have to do that, all these different things. And so then you start to really realize how the financial situation is between you and your partner, and how you're going to navigate that. And like, some people are perfectly fine with paying for stuff, and they think they are, but then eventually as time goes on, as they start paying for stuff, they get like it becomes financially tough on them. It's like, oh my God, like I don't want to be doing this, and you don't really like it, all that stuff. Yeah.
And another trend that I've seen, on TikTok predominantly is a lot of women saying like, oh, women shouldn't pay for anything. If he doesn't pay for everything, I'm not there. Or they would say, oh, if I'm going on the first date, I'm going to offer to pay, and if he lets me, he's not seeing me again. What do you as a man think about that?
So that situation is a sticky one still. Can't say it properly with a raspy voice, but no. So this, we've kind of, Nicoletta and I kind of gone back and forth about this before, like talked about it, and we kind of agreed that and we tend to agree with other people as well near us, like I guess it's a hive mindset, that the person who asks on the date is the person who pays. You kind of get it. Or otherwise, like, or if someone pays a lot on a date, then you kind of like pay for something else on the date or whatever. We actually said that with like Chloe, I think, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
That it was like she was on a date, like he paid for a bunch of stuff, so she like got him drinks or something like later on, which is like really good. I feel like that's the right way to do it, but it's kind of crazy because nowadays, as you said, like there's a lot, well, not a lot, but there's a vocal percentage of women that are like, he has to pay for everything on a date. He has to do all this, otherwise I'm not interested. And then it's like, okay, I can understand if he's asking you on a date, but would you not also want to be like, financially responsible and be like, yeah, let me pay for some stuff? Because like then are you really being independent if you're letting one person, like the whole idea of these women is like they're independent women, they can do whatever the fuck they want, but like are you really truly being independent if you're relying on someone solely for like all your financial needs on like dates? Like would you not want to contribute? Like I understand maybe like if you just go for a dinner and he pays, perfectly fine, or something like that, but every single time you go out, would you not even be like, oh, I would actually, maybe this time let's go halves or whatever? And then he's like, oh, that's really nice. Because I feel like as a guy, it just show it, like, I don't mind paying for every date. I have no issues with that. But at the same time, I feel like I even heard just even one time either paying for it or going halves, I'd be like, oh, that's really cool.
Okay.
You know? And isn't that kind of sad?
No, like, see, the thing is, I think you said there about financial dependency. I don't think the women are financially dependent on the men. They can very much afford it. They can very much go about their life paying for their own expenses. I think it's that kind of like, oh, well, a man wants a woman who's like, you know, does all these things for her, blah, blah, blah. So you better pay for everything then.
Oh my,
you know?
But then this just all comes back to that whole, like, are you really like a modern dating woman, or are you trying to have that traditional lifestyle?
What are you doing?
Like you, and once again, you can pick and choose different aspects, but you can't do it only in the point at which it suits you. Do you get me? As in, like, these are, no offense to any of women listening, like, but these are the same women that are like, he'll pay for all my stuff, but also don't know how to cook or clean. And then it's like, the fuck. So,
but how about if they do know how to cook or clean? Is that a fair expectation?
But once again, like, I'm just using that cook and clean thing because it's just like the bigoted example that everyone uses. Like, but it's not even about cooking and cleaning. It's like, oh, and I hate saying it, it's like the other person bringing something else to the table. And I don't care if what you bring is like emotional support or whatever, like, or cooking and cleaning, whatever you deem as your own worthwhile skill. But it's something that, like, if I'm going to do all this for you financially, then you should also do something for me. It doesn't have to be financial. It doesn't have to be, I can cook and clean myself. My mom taught me how to cook and clean.
I mean, yeah, that's assuming that he does know how to.
But what are you doing for me that makes me be like, oh, I'm really happy to be spending time with this woman because I'm gaining something out of it. You know, like, if you are enjoying my company, you should try to make sure I enjoy your company. Like, it's quid pro quo. It shouldn't just be one side taking everything and the other side just giving, you know?
I think a lot of the girls who do kind of make that argument, surely, I don't know if this is true, but to me, like, I would hope that they're talking about simply in the dating phase and not like in, I'm actually with this person, this person's my partner, and they're paying for everything.
But then if you think about the whole, like, influencer dating scene, like, I hate those guys, but, like, think of the girls Fresh and Fit bring on their show. Those women are always like, I want a guy, I fucking hate this statement, high value man, bloody blah, does everything, right? They're seeing that guy, and all they're saying is all they're offering is just their body in return, right? They're like, my feminine energy or whatever is enough. I'm like, that's not enough. Clearly, like, once again, I don't need you to cook or clean for me, but at the same time, your feminine energy is not enough. Like, I need to get something out of it, like, whether it's physically tangible or emotionally tangible. Like, it can't just be, like, my favorite quote, it can't just be give, and the other person's take, you know? Like, it just doesn't work that way. It makes no sense.
I mean, hey, I suppose to each their own, really. It's not my vibe or kind of lifestyle, just because I hate that the thought of someone potentially thinking that I'm taking advantage of them, and I would never ever want that. So to me, it's like, you know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Like, I got you here, you got me there. And obviously these are terms that can be discussed, like, if a partner makes more than the other and there's certain agreements on who pays for what, as long as it's agreed upon, it's fine, you know. And speaking of that, then I saw a TikTok, right, and this girl was talking about how she splits her finances with her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, not anymore boyfriend, and he would make an Excel spreadsheet, and at the end of the month he would send it back to her with all the expenses, you know, that were spent on guests on both of them during the month, and then they would just go halves, right? And this is just something that she agreed on. Like, this was something she was okay with. It just became a pattern over time. And she shared some screenshots of this, and they're very small expenses that are on there, such as like pastries and, you know, small things like that. And I guess what broke the camel's back for her was that he added in an expense for eating like banana on toast at his mom's house. So it wasn't out and about. It wasn't out. It was in his home at his, you know, family's house, and he charged her $3 something. Mind you, this definitely did not cost $3. But yeah, like, how far should couples go in splitting costs?
Oh my god, that shit is insane. What the fuck? Imagine going to your mom's house and be like, oh yeah, she does this, you know, for your girlfriend, and you're like, oh, that's gonna cost you. Actually, you know, this is a restaurant. You know, but no, that shit's crazy. I think that's way too far, obviously. If you want to have Excel sheets in your relationship to split costs, all the power to you. Personally, I wouldn't do that. I think that's just a headache. But, you know, it is one thing. Like, there are easier ways to do things. Like, for example, you have Cash App, you have Revolut, all these things allow you to split costs between people. But at the same time, I don't think you should be splitting minute things. Like, rent, okay. Maybe a big dinner, okay. Like, you know, if you guys just want to go halves on it instead of one person paying with XYZ, blah, 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 whatever. But, like, me going to the shop, getting you a croissant, and then being like, here, babes, here's a croissant, please, that's €3. The fuck does that mean?
It charged me for a croissant.
You know, I'm here doing it out of the kindness of my own heart for you, because I love you. Not because, oh my God, you just paid for something, you reciprocated by taking that thing, so here you go, here's the bill. You know, it's like, take for example, let's say we lived in a place, we had 2 cars or whatever, and I washed my car, and while I was washing my car, I was like, oh fuck, let me wash your car. And, you know, that's something you're meant to do out of the kindness of your heart because you love the other person. But this motherfucker is gonna go be like, oh yeah, here's the bill for me washing your car, cheers. Venmo me that whenever you have time, thanks.
It's so toxic. But in that same sentence, like, what I'm hearing is, and I've heard this before, of women giving all the money to men, like, to manage, you know, where the men manage the finances and things like that. I don't know how okay I am with that.
You say that as if you're not a proprietor of that situation.
I'm not.
I'm joking.
I'm not giving you my, like, monthly income for you to split it out. Like,
that shit is weird, man. I don't never, like, they're not your accountant. Like, unless your boyfriend is actually an accountant, you know, like, maybe that's a different scenario. But, like, they're not your accountant.
Even then, though, is that, I don't know, it just seems a little bit weird that someone's in charge of your whole income.
Well, like, if you guys are married and, like, you know, you have a shared income pool, and like this, as I said, this person accounting, or they're good with money or whatever, and you're like, I trust them with money more than I trust myself. So like, you give them the income, they're like, oh, here, put X amount into your, like, after, I assume you guys would have discussed this and agreed upon whatever, and then this is money, spending money for the month, this is money that goes towards your bills, and this is money towards investments, so, and he sorts that all out for you. Makes your life easier, to be honest. I wouldn't mind if I had a personal accountant in my life that I didn't have to pay for. You know, accountant, like the rich people use accountants all the time.
But how about when it's almost demanded?
That's where the problem lies, when it's like,
because let's be for real, most guys who are demanding this aren't accountants.
Yeah, no, they're dumb as fuck. They don't even know what they're spending all their money on fucking gambling and losing it. But it's like, it makes no sense, because yeah, it's like, how can you demand someone you're rich to give them your money, for them to give you their money, and be like, hey, I'm gonna manage this, I don't trust you, you're a big dumb duddy dumb. And then it's like, but I'm gonna deal with it, even though I'm also a big dummy dumb. Yeah,
I know. I just don't, I'm not a big fan of that, you know, like, in
it's really stupid. Like, I can't, also, I don't, like, to be honest, some blame has to go towards, like, no, actually, you know, I was gonna say some blame has to go towards the people who are giving them the money, but actually I can't even blame you, because, like, I feel like women tend to be a lot more emotionally involved in their relationships. So when like their boyfriend or their partner suggests that, they're like, oh yes, it's because this person has the best interest in mind and I love them and I care for them and you know what, I trust them.
Absolutely.
You know, and then the guys are just taking advantage of it. And it's not like the women are stupid. Like some people can say like, yeah, you're being stupid because you're giving someone money. But no, when you love someone, like logic doesn't really come into play. You just do things because you're like, oh, I trust this person.
Yep.
I feel safe with this person. They would never have my worst intentions in mind. Even though,
lo and behold,
even the person sleeping beside you every night is an op. Never forget.
everyone's an op. Never forget. There was another instance, right, where this guy, he commented on I think a similar TikTok about sharing finances, and he said that he makes 4 times what his partner does, and they split 50-50 rent, right? But he pays for everything else, like bills, outings, dinners, that kind of thing. But there was a comment underneath that, and a girl who said, oh, she said that if he made 4 times my salary and still charging rent, I wouldn't be with him.
I think that's unfair. I think that one is slightly unfair due to the fact that, one, we don't know how much the rent is. Like, let's say, for example, let's say that rent is 1,200 or some shit, right? And she can afford paying that 600 euro a month rent, right? And he's still, remember, there's a lot more to living in the house than rent. Like, he's still covering everything else. So she's only paying one consistent subscription fee, like, you know, for the place. Possibly he's paying for every other thing, like actual subscriptions, like let's say Netflix, whatever, paying for bills, electricity, heating, everything, right? Maybe filling up the car, maybe doing whatever, dates, whatever, and he's only charging her for rent. I think that's pretty fair because, like, once again, it's not even about the difference in the money. Like, yes, that matters, but also I think this is where it comes back to financial accountability. I think by her just simply paying that 600, like, once again, we don't know what the actual number, I'm just assuming here, like 600 a month or whatever, she's being financially accountable with her money. Because then she's not just going to be like, oh, I have no financial like thing I have to do, so I'm just going to waste my money. Like, obviously she might be smart and she just be investing in it. But like, once again, it's just like, I feel like you're more financially accountable of yourself if you have some actual thing. And rent is a big thing. Like, having to pay rent monthly, you're like, okay, I can't be stupid with my money because I have to at least pay rent. And then he's covering the rest. I think that's pretty fair. Like, yes, 4 times the salary, but she could be making 100 grand and he could be making 400K, right?
They're both laughing all the way to the bank. Don't worry about them.
Exactly. It could be a situation simply like that. So I don't see a problem with that. Like, you know, it's a different story now. If they're living in a place that, let's say, a lot more expensive, let's say 3K, and that 1,500 is maybe, let's say, like 2/3 of her salary or something, that's when I feel like, okay, I feel like as the guy, and not even a guy, as the partner who's making more money in that scenario, you should pay a little bit more because, you know, at least bring it so that it's maybe only taking in maybe 50% of their salary or whatever. Help them a bit because you love them and that's all, you know. But you still want them to take financial accountability of like paying rent or something.
But then what do you think of, I heard this one guy say that if she makes more than him, they pay 50-50 rent. But if he makes more than her, she doesn't pay at all.
I think that whole ideology of like, guys paying for everything if they're making more and women still doing whatever is such just a sexist mentality backwards. Because once again, there's no power dynamic. There should be no power dynamic in a relationship, period, ever. And there should definitely be no power dynamic in your relationship because of gender, right? And money or whatever. It should just be a situation of like, hey, you make more money. Let's see. I'm not telling you to completely waste your money, but since we're together, at least try to help me a bit, please, because you love me, not because I need it, right? And that's it. Or if you guys are happy with like splitting all the bills, you know, as I said, like maybe when you're going on dates and you have more money, you're the one that like takes that hit a little bit more, because like it's just, I don't know, I feel like as a person with more money in the relationship, because you love the other person, you want them to succeed as well.
Yeah.
And to enable them to succeed, they need to have that spare change to be able to do things with their money to grow their wealth, like assets or so on and so forth.
I don't know. For me, I think if my partner made 4 times my salary, I wouldn't want to split rent 50-50. I would rather split it like according to payments, but I would also chip into the other stuff. You know, I don't think I would be okay with like, here now you pay for absolutely everything else just because I pay rent. You know, that's just, it doesn't even seem like equivalent.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, yeah, no, just let me help out here and there, because I don't, like I said, I don't want to make someone feel like I'm using them. And if I want to take you out to dinner, I want to take you out to dinner, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, let me take you out, but you pay though. You know, do you know what I mean? So there's that. So there's another story actually, right? This girl, she made a point, right, that they were going to go to the gallery. Her and her boyfriend were going to go to the gallery. But if you're under 25, you get to go in for free, right? And she's 26 and he's 25. So he gets to go in for free and she has to pay. Now she's trying to say that they should split the bill, right? And instead of him going for free. What do you think?
Oh, like I get it, because she's like, oh, just help me, but like, it's not my fault you're old. Like, if it was me and Nicolette, I'd just be like, even though I'm the older one, but like, and if that was that scenario, I'd be like, I free, you're not, ha ha ha. But in reality, God knows, like, I'd probably just split the bill with Nicolette.
I think it was like $12 or something.
Oh God. I was thinking like it was $50 or something. You know, it was $12. Please, women stand up, like have some pride in yourself. $12.
$12.
Simple $12. You couldn't pay to go into a gallery. You wanted to split the bill. $6 each.
Yeah.
Oh my day. You spend more than that on coffee in a week, like, you know.
Yeah, if anything, he should just buy you a coffee afterwards or whatever.
Yeah, or something. Like he can like buy you a croissant and a coffee. God,
yeah.
Like he can buy you one meal, one main course. Like, oh my, $12, simple $12.
All of that.
Like, I understand if you guys were broke, all right, $12 is a lot.
You shouldn't be going to the gallery.
You know, but why the fuck you went to gallery in the first place if $12 is that important to you? Let's be honest.
Yeah, no. I felt really weird about it myself, because I was like, well, come on, like it's $12. You know what I mean? And it just so happens that, you know, he's a little bit younger, and then it got me thinking, like, I don't think this woman would complain if she was getting in every single weekend at the club for free and men have to pay. Like, would she then pay half for him?
Yeah.
I don't think she would. And there's just like a lot of different things that women just kind of get along the way, like la la la, strut in, like, you know, and they don't have to pay. Meanwhile, the men are paying, you know, $50.
They're paying the big bucks.
So yeah,
You know, especially in that clubbing scenario, bastards.
you men. Some of you will never see the inside of a bougie club.
No, we will never. Our gender is completely just ostracized from bougie clubs. It's either you pay for a table or you go home crying. Or go to the
bar or pub or something.
Go to the peasant club.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you think you're doing here, bro? Are you a woman? You know?
Yeah, for real. Oh, that's fair. And then, okay, should you let your partner know what you spend your money on?
Because I'm gonna feed on the operative word being partner. I assume if you're calling someone your partner, you've been with to get together for a while. Funny story. I just heard recently that someone I know, someone they know, what's it called? They are in a relationship for like 3 months and they're already calling them their partner. Weird as hell. Very weird.
But you know what it is? I think about the term partner. Sorry, just a bit off topic, but I think it's so cringe to someone call your boyfriend or girlfriend at our grown age.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, even like at work, I would be like, oh yeah, my partner.
Yeah, but I'm like, I feel like if you guys haven't been together for like a year, what the fuck you calling them your partner?
I get
for?
you.
Like,
it's more of an official
like,
term.
When I feel like when I hear partner, it's like, oh, you've been together for a while and you guys are like pretty much settled on being
the
together,
cusp of marriage.
You know, like on the cusp. Not like you're my boyfriend or my girlfriend when I'm just getting to know you and then you become my partner. Anyway, as we said, that was a sidetrack. But I assume if they are your partner, yes, you should definitely discuss finances, like about what you're spending, whatever. And once again, I'm not saying that they should control it or like your money, your rules, right? But because you guys are probably working towards shared goals financially, you should probably discuss like once again, like that's why I always say, like, you should each have your own, like, quote unquote fun money, and and you can use that for whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to tell them. It's like, I want to go buy this dumbass thing for $100. I can buy it, but like, if it's like money that's actually critical, maybe be like, hey, do you mind if I get this, because I want it, but at the same time I know it cuts into our like budget or whatever, but if it's like a common ordinary boyfriend girlfriend, I don't have to tell you anything. I will go and buy whatever the hell I want, and then I'll come back and be like, look, I got this thing.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I find it especially weird when, like, I see people, like, even married couples who go off and they just spend big money on something and come home, and the partner is like, what have you done? Maybe we can't afford to do this.
From the joint account? Not even your own account?
Even worse. So I was reading the story where this man went to, this girl went to get professional photos taken. I actually have the story. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just thought it was really interesting because it's, on the finance side of things. So let's go. So he says, when people ask why I'm not in our family pictures, I'm going to tell them the truth. A couple of weeks ago, my wife asked if we could have professional family photos taken. I said that money was too tight between our daughter's birthday, a trip to her parents for Thanksgiving, and Christmas. I asked her if we could wait until after Christmas. She said no. She never brought it back up. I didn't think anything of it, and I assumed that she was planning on taking them herself. The other day, one of my tires blew out, and I went to her emergency fund to cover it. That's when I discovered that she took $300 out of it to pay for photos. I know it sounds pathetic, but when I saw that, I broke down. The last couple of years have been horrible for us. I got laid off, and she got sick in the same year. We eventually both found new jobs, but we never fully recovered financially. It took months and months of hard work just to get our emergency fund to that point. Now half of it is gone right before Christmas for photos. When I confronted her about it, she didn't even try to deny it. She just said that she deserves to have nice photos. I begged her to try to get the money back, but she said no.
Wow. That's an inconsiderate partner. Absolutely scumbaggery, and family photos. Okay, but the real question is, how is that a family photo without this nigga in it?
No, I think she wanted to book it for all of them.
Oh, I should have pre-booked it.
Yeah, for all of them.
Oh, that's why she said, I'll get the money back because he could have canceled.
Yeah.
What a scumbag. She's like, I wanted the photos, so we're getting the photos.
Professional photos.
And the thing is, it's so funny because he was like, no, we can't waste that money because we have so much important things to do. And then when the money was actually needed, look, it proved my point. It blew up.
But the fact that it was from the emergency fund, this is not
Which also means that she knew that they didn't have the money in the first place. That's why she had to go to the emergency
fund
to get it.
She knew.
She's like, this is an emergency. I was having some photos.
She be knowing. I think a lot of people see keeping up with appearances and what other people think of you as an emergency, as like, I need to spend on this so people don't think I'm financially struggling or whatever, which is such a dumb mentality in today's day. Like,
so pathetic.
Oof.
Like, you are so pathetic if you think that. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. I feel bad for that dude. Just run, bro. She's not worth it. Because if she can do this dumb shit at crucial times like this, God knows what's gonna happen. You're gonna be fucking saving for a house, and next thing you know, the whole down payment for the mortgage is gone on some fucking stupid trip that she decided to do. So if I were you, leave that person. Not worth your time. Like, it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous to even think. Like, and that's the thing. Like, finances are such an important thing. Like, if you can agree on it, you should not be together.
Yeah.
You should not be together because it's such a one person's just gonna be suffering because of another person's idiotic. And the funniest thing is, when they don't have money for other shit that they're gonna do, she's gonna blame him. She's like, why aren't you good enough? Why aren't you making enough money? Why aren't you doing this? This is all your fault. You're not planning properly. You're not doing whatever. He's like, I literally been breaking my back out. You've been breaking your back out. We're trying to do this thing. And then you're just like, fuck this shit. Fuck you. I'm wasting money. And now you're blaming me for the money not being there because of money you use. And it's so stupid. Like,
no, I do think it's sad. I feel for him. Like, I understand the breakdown because he said that it was like half their emergency, which is $600, which is, it's on the low end. So you can tell they're really struggling.
Yeah, exactly.
And to spend that on photos is insane.
Absolutely
insane.
ridiculous. Scandalous.
And like, imagine she like now he went there because his tire blew out and there was no money. Well, they don't even have a car then. What then?
You know, like what they meant to do. I assume when they were trying to go to their parents for Thanksgiving, they was either gonna drive there, do something. How the fuck's that? Oh my God, this is actually, it makes my blood boil.
I know, it's so
The
sad. I feel for
stupidity.
him because obviously he's trying even for his daughter and everything, and it's tough. I have another question for you, right? If one person has debt before entering a relationship, should the partner help them pay that off, or is it all their responsibility?
Yes, it helped them. You can't, well, it depends on how much. It depends on how much. It depends on how much.
Okay.
Like, if it's a big debt, help them as much as you can. But if
What's a big debt?
I feel like big debt is anything over like that has like so much compounding interest that they're gonna be paying off for years to come, right? If it's something that they can clear up in like 5 years themselves, let them do it. Because like once again, if it's something that they chose to do it, whatever. And I feel like you need to feel the pain of like paying that off, so you know, obviously, like to next time, oh shit, what can I do? You know, obviously I'm not saying there's anything wrong getting debt. Absolutely nothing wrong, but I feel like it's your responsibility kind of thing. But if it's a lot of debt, I feel like you need to help. As I said, if it's so much compounding that literally is for the rest of their lives, it's going to be so hard for them to do anything, because it's that you're better off living it off. Because not only will it affect them, it will also end up affecting you regardless, and affecting relationship. So you might as well help them try to get that thing sorted. I'm not saying that you pay 50%. I'm not saying you pay all of it. I'm saying like you try help as much as you can here.
Okay,
and there.
but so at what point do you start helping out? You know what I mean? Because like it could just be a fresh relationship. I don't want to be starting to pay no one's debt.
Absolutely. Oh, I think you need to really care about this person, and
Okay.
you have not just like feelings. Like everyone cares about the person when they first start dating, but no, as in like you truly have to have gone through your ups and downs. You have to be with this person for like a few years, I would say, and then you're like, I can help you out with that. Like I saw a really like cute video on TikTok there recently where this guy had a mortgage or whatever, and his like partner, his wife, well, I think she had like a good bit of money or whatever, and she surprised him by paying off his mortgage completely.
I heard that story, yeah.
And oh my God, it was so adorable. He like started crying, you know, because
Of
it was
course.
so, I know, and that's the thing, like it was within her means to be able to do it without, you know, like financially impacting her, and she did it for him, and like he felt so appreciative, and because they love each other, like that makes sense. Right? Not when it's a girl I've only been seeing for 2 months and she has 5K there and I'm trying to pay that off. No.
What if she's the one and you just know she's the one in 5 months?
You're dumb.
I have another story for you, right? It's an am I the asshole story. It's on the finance side. You know, it's a little bit interesting, but here we go. So, am I the asshole for letting my mother have a copy of the key to our new home despite my wife's objection? I recently bought a 1-story house. Note that it was purchased solely by me. My wife did not help save for it. I started saving for it before I even met her, and it's in my name. When my parents threw us a party for this happy occasion, Mom asked for a copy of the key in case of an emergency. I let her have it, which made my wife upset. She didn't say anything at the time, but she waited till we were alone and started arguing with me, saying I shouldn't have let my mother have a copy of the key. I said why, since my mother is known to respect privacy and is a very trusted member of the family. She said that she does not feel comfortable with the idea of someone else who's not a resident to have a copy of the key. She also brought up how my mother didn't pay a penny towards the house, so that should disqualify her from getting the key. I said it was not a big deal, but she kept persisting, saying I need to take the key back. Quite frankly, this had me fuming. I pointed out that I'm the one who bought the house, and it's my decision to decide who gets to have a copy of the key. End of story. She screamed at me, saying that technically she did contribute towards the house savings back when she used to pay for our rent and daily expenses while I saved money. I told her that she was acting as if I put my mom's name on the title, which is ridiculous, but she said that I have no respect for her opinions and keep undermining her input.
That's a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot. That's multi-layered. Let's start peeling back the layers here. All right. One, the mother having the key thing. Not a big deal, but also I don't see why they need to have the key X, Y, Z. But at the same time,
we were talking about this.
Yeah, like you don't really need to, like, giving them the key when you're gonna go travel. Okay, giving them the key to have all the time. I don't know. I feel like that's such an American thing, but
I don't get it.
I don't get it, and obviously this is something that you should discuss with your wife first, and then he can still put his foot down and be like, I'm going, because technically it is his house, you know, like he can put his foot down and be like, I'm gonna give her the key, but at least I've discussed it first, right?
Yeah,
you know, because it's worse after the fact than
because she lives in the house at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
She should know,
you know. So there's that, and then the whole ownership of the house. I said this before and I'll say it again. It is her fault for paying for stuff to allow him to save. I get she had good intention, but in the end of the day, the fact that he solely bought it and it's only in his name means it's his house no matter what she did for him. I don't even care if she gave him 10,000 euro for free and he ended up using that 10,000 euro to buy the house. It is still his house, right? And in the court of law, it is still his house.
Yep.
And this is why you don't just do things blindly because you love someone. These are things you should actually properly discuss with people you're in a relationship with, because it's going to bite you in the ass negatively if you don't. And it's his house. He said it. Don't get me wrong. I think he's been a dickhead for it, but he's all within his right to be a dickhead.
I don't know, like, I feel like he's not in his right to be a dickhead.
Well,
I feel
legally he is.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about, you know, morals, relationships, like taking advantage of someone who's helped you own the house that you own.
Exactly.
And your response is, well, technically it's my house. Like, whoa, hold on a second. Like, it's not about that, you know, like I'm asking that you don't give someone a key to the house that I also live in, like, you know, and you're here blowing up in my face saying that it's your house when I helped you along the way, you know.
Exactly.
It's just dickhead move, and I think she's in her right to leave and not want to be with this person because he just sounds like an absolute dickhead.
I think she should leave. Not that she has the right. She should leave because this is a scenario that, like, clearly he wasn't appreciative. Like that, like once again, as I said, it hits his house, but he wasn't appreciative that she took sacrifices to enable him to be able to afford his house. You know, like at the time he did, like he would have eventually afforded it, clearly, but
not as fast.
Not as fast if she didn't aid him in those situations when she was paying rent for them. But he's like, it's still my house. My money went in. It's my name on it.
Yeah.
But
I think, like you said earlier, you know, like, don't trust nobody.
No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it because you don't know.
But at the same time, you're hoping that your partner has your best interest.
You're hoping. The primary word in there being hope.
Yeah. So then, to wrap up today's episode, what's your advice for couples, you know, and finances? How should it go?
Discuss this straight away. Like the finances, like once again, I don't mean on like your first fucking date, you know, like I think you should discuss like babies and marriage on your first date or something like that. I think that's a little bit more important. And then as you get to know each other, make sure you discuss finances, what you guys see yourself, what you want in life financially, what you want to work towards, so on and so forth. And I feel like once you've discussed those things, then you can actually decide if you guys actually want to be together long term, because like that's going to be such a thing. Like it's just such a thorn always in a relationship. Like as much as you think you can smooth it over, you actually can't, unless you are some rich ass motherfucker who has a lot of money and you don't, that money means something to you. Then do whatever the fuck you want. But if money does matter to you, like the majority of people where like we are living paycheck, you know, like trying to afford stuff, whatever, then you should definitely discuss these things.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the more time you let pass, the more awkward it's going to be to bring it up. So the sooner you do, the better. Like you said, not on first dates or whatever, but you know, when things like a few months in, things start to be a bit more serious, and say you're constantly going on dates and now one person's constantly paying and expecting the other to, just discuss it. Just say what it is, because the earlier you do, the earlier you might realize that that person's not for you, and maybe they expect you to pay for everything and that's not what you want from life. So you just wasted a few months of your life. It's just not worth it. But yeah, talk about it. Don't be afraid at the end of the day, we all have to make money somehow. So might as well talk about it.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed
Today's episode.
Keep listening, comment, let us know what you think. And
like, subscribe. If you're listening, you know, review, leave a nice review. And till next time.
Peace.